Welcome to A Victim Bites back in the south of France. Quite a journey to get here, but actually pretty simple. On the Eurostar and then on the train down to the south of France. I'll tell you more about that later. For now, here we are, back on A Victim Bites Back. I always try to get to the Eurostar quite a while ahead of time so you can escape the queues, but also I then tend to get onto an earlier train because they go every hour or so to Paris, so you can literally nip onto an earlier one. No such chance this time. I got onto the earlier train and I went to my seat allocated for the next train, of course, and someone was in it, so I had to walk around. I couldn't find a spare seat. Eventually the conductor came up to me and asked to see my ticket. I showed it to him. He said, no, you're on the next train. And I said, yes, but can't you get me on a seat on this one? He said, I'm afraid every single Eurostar train is fully booked and every seat occupied all through the summer. And I have to say, indeed it was, as indeed were all the trains from Paris down to the south of France on Tibes, where I get off. Every single train was full. Didn't actually matter that one because I was on my reserved train seat, and so all was fine. This is my favourite railway station restaurant in the world. I've been coming here for 60 odd years. It's in the Gare de Lyon in Paris, and it has the most fantastic interior. Easy loving, so sexy looking. I know from the feeling that it comes from the heart. Easy loving. Every day's Thanksgiving to count all my blessings. I wouldn't know where to start. Every time I look you over, so real to life it seems. Upon your pretty shoulders, there's a pair of angel wings. Easy loving, seeing is believing. Are the Hugh Edwards, BBC, Philip Schofield, ITV dramas merely hiccups, or are they significant in the history of humanity? Let's analyse them.
I actually think they're rather significant. I think they illustrate the superficialisation of our species, our inability to think deeply about anything. These two men both seem to have done nothing criminal, nothing illegal, but it may be immoral if you happen to have that kind of attitude. And for that reason, they've been literally crucified. Their careers have ended, their family life has been wrecked. Everything that's bad has happened to them, all because the media love a great story. And if they can't get a great story, they inflate a trivial story. And we, the stupid public, lap it up, love it, encourage it, inflate it, and pass it on via the vile social media. I actually think social media is even nastier than traditional media. After all, the newspapers, television, radio are only doing what is second nature to them. But the social media tends to reflect that really unpleasant side of humanity. It's there but for the grace of God go we, and because we haven't managed to have a very satisfactory sex life or whatever, we condemn others. But two, we love to see famous people, celebrities, wealthy people brought down into poverty, misery, sometimes prison, and even death. We just love it. It's the same thing as bread and circuses.
Back in the south of France, of course, Wimbledon's still going on, but I'm watching it on television. It's rather annoying for me because I really support the two Italians, Berrettini and Sinner. And Sinner is right into the semi-final against Novak Djokovic. Of course, I'm a big fan of Novak, as I said before, because he dared fight the media and the government on the vaccination thing. Although I'm very pro-vax, he's no-vax, of course, Novak Djokovic. But I shall be watching that match, Sinner versus Djokovic, on television. And I shall also be watching Alcaraz versus Medvedev on in the other semi-final, and then both finals. Likewise, I shall be watching the women's final because I'm a huge fan of Ons Jabeur. She is a typical Tunisian in her entire character. I adore Tunisia. It's a fabulous country. I really would recommend a holiday there. It is tremendous. It's been going, of course, through incredible difficulties with that mad loony who shot all the British tourists on the beach and other things. But it's a great country, and Ons Jabeur is the typical Tunisian, so I'm hoping she wins. By the time you see this, you'll know the result of both finals. Never mind.
And indeed, by the time I edit this, the results are in. Sadly, Ons Jabeur lost, didn't even really turn up. And although Djokovic played a brilliant game, I thought, against Alcaraz, and Alcaraz was a disaster in the first set, but Alcaraz really picked it up. And actually, it ended up as a great game and very close. I think we'll see this rivalry for the next couple of years, with both Alcaraz and Djokovic winning different Grand Slams.
This is where I tend to spend most of the summer months. Swimming in the pool for a couple of hours in the morning, an hour at about lunchtime, and a couple of hours in the afternoon. Very slowly, breaststroke, loving every minute of it.
There'll be no strings to bind your hands, not if her love can't bind your heart. There's no need to take a stand, she's the one who chose to start. And there's no need to take her home, she's old enough to face the dawn. Just call her angel of the morning, angel. Just touch her cheek before you leave her. Just call her angel of the morning. Maybe the sun's light will be dim, and it won't matter anyhow. If morning's echo says you've sinned, well, it was what she wanted now. And if you're victims of the night, she won't be blinded by the light. Just call her angel of the morning, angel. Just touch her cheek before you leave her, then you leave her. Just call her angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away. She won't beg you to stay. Through the tears of the day, of the years. Later, she's a lady. Just call her angel of the morning, angel. Just touch her cheek before you leave her, then you leave her. Just call her angel of the morning, angel. Just touch her cheek before you leave her, then leave her, and call her angel of the morning, angel. And touch her cheek before you leave her, then you leave her. Just call her angel of the morning.
Do forgive me if I ramble on a bit. The whole point of this series is to look at places, give you a travel idea, not only travel but food and drink and other things, but also to tell you some of my opinions and to talk on topical matters. Now, we seem to be getting thousands of views every episode, but I have to say it's not increasing. If you just take YouTube, because we're on dozens of sites and most viewers are on the dedicated site, but if you take YouTube, we're only getting about 100 views per episode, which really isn't enough to make it worthwhile. If you're interested, please spread the word, because if we don't get more people watching, I'll probably stop when I get back to London around episode 50.
These are my friends from France for 30 years, 30 années, c'est vrai?
Oui, oui, Jonathan.
Vous êtes votre nom? Qu'est-ce que c'est votre nom, jeune fille?
Mon voisin, Ghislaine.
Vous êtes Ghislaine.
Voilà.
Ghislaine est française? Ok, c'est très bien, merci.
I've had friends say, why do you come to the south of France in July and August? And this is one of the reasons. You do get to see loads of friends from all over Europe who tend to come to the Riviera for the summer months, and you only meet once a year.
The Kevin Spacey case is still ongoing, so I don't really want to comment on the case, except what I've read in the media, the coverage thereof. And from all the coverage of it, it does appear this is a problem between consenting adults. Well, actually, clearly adults, but not necessarily consenting. That seems to be the problem. I have to say, most of the things that aren't being consented to were so trivial, I cannot imagine how or why they would ever become a criminal case. Somebody groped somebody in a car and made the car pull over. Yeah, you know, that's the kind of thing that happens, and you deal with it. Anyway, who can tell how this will result? But I do think one of the important things is that we are beginning to reach a point where matters that would not normally have been considered criminal are now being considered criminal. And the other area being, of course, cases like Spacey and Hugh Edwards and Philip Schofield and so on get massive coverage. The media coverage tends to provoke false allegations. Yes, they will say and true allegations, but also, if not only, false allegations. And those allegations often will concern somebody who will claim to have been younger than they actually were, or to have not consented when they actually did consent but thought about it afterwards. This is a very grey area, and should it be an area of law, it is surely only a moral area. I find it all very, very disturbing and upsetting. It's not that we've gone back to the Victorian era or the Puritan era. It's that we're assessing things in a completely different way now and regarding things as criminal which are really not criminal. On the other side, we have lawyers and criminals using the law to break the law, which I've mentioned beforehand, and actually doing something which is possibly criminal, but is certainly bending the law in order to get money. And that's what seems to be behind all of this. Money, money, money. Quite interesting as I sit and have a meal, watching all the people stopping and looking at the Rolls Royce. I'd say 60% of people walking past look at the car, and out of those about 20% take photos of themselves standing next to it. Other bizarre things that have been going on: footballers being acquitted left, right and centre of false allegations made against them, Mendy and Ryan Giggs and so many others. It really is out of control. When is somebody going to realise the false allegations industry has exploded? Anyway, that's it for A Victim Bites Back, show 36. On to show 37. See you then.
Ow!